Hello beautiful alchemists, welcome to Elina's Alchemy. I'm an intuitive, I'm an energy healer and an artist, a music and sound healer and a creative. And welcome to my channel, Elina's Alchemy, where we talk all about energy, spirit, and a lot of other beautiful things. And today I had the idea to make a video titled Basic Elements of Ritual. Now, I'm gonna say this, I'm outside today, as you can see. I'm at my favorite place by the river. I come here for medicine, for inspiration, for rest, relaxation, recuperation, connection with nature, connection with the divine, connection with myself. So before I even start my video, this is an open invitation for you as well. Just see how you can squeeze it into your daily schedule to be going out in nature. This is so important, especially during this time. There's always a lot of activations and light codes and inspiration from high above and from nature coming. That's not like, you know, I hear a lot of people always being like, right now there's a lot of activations coming in, so get out in nature to receive those. I would say get out in nature anytime. Get out in nature as often as you can. Get out in nature as like unconditionally as possible. There does not need to be a reason for us to go out in nature, right? We are natural beings. We are meant to be interacting with the natural world. Even if we live, you know, in our homes, indoors, yes, we can have the best of both worlds. We can have the protection that our modern homes are offering us. And I don't know why I'm being like right now called to speak about toxic mold in houses, kind of like put a little question mark there around the safety that our modern homes are offering us. I'm just gonna leave it there. Probably someone needs to hear it. But yeah, we can have the safety of our modern homes, and we can have the bountiful and the abundant and beautiful, healthy frequency of the natural world. So, all right, let's dive into today's topic, which is, yeah, as I mentioned, basic elements of ritual. Now, I'm aware that this title and this video may end up attracting people from all sorts of practices, from all walks of life, but primarily could be people who are interested in practicing witchcraft and rituals within the frames of their witchcraft practice. I am going to add a disclaimer that I feel our ability for alchemy, that growth, that evolution that we have as human beings is definitely taking us, if not having taken us already, towards this Christic consciousness way of doing things, which is much like the Christ impulse. And when I'm saying Christ impulse, again, it doesn't have to do with anything religious. It has to do with, you know, the Christ as an impulse, as a life force energy impulse, versus the anti-Christ impulse, which is the death impulse. The Christ impulse, and the most recent example that we've had was that of Jesus the Christ, but that was literally a model of shamanism, if I may say it like that, where we could embody the divinity within the human, and through that we could bring about shifts, manifestations, changes, miracles, what often people would call them miracles. Like literally when Jesus was doing miracles where people were like, okay, this guy was sick or this guy couldn't walk, and Jesus prayed over them or just commanded them to just get up and start walking, and oh my gosh, now these people can walk. So that's a miracle. That's the ability, that's a demonstration of the Christ. That's a demonstration of the divinity within the human, to imprint intention upon reality, enough so, or with enough clarity of signal of intention, to create super fast this shift into reality, like within seconds, right in front of you. So this is what I myself focus on most in my practice. That's not to say this makes me better or worse than others, but I'm adding this disclaimer because I'm doing a video on ritual. And I want to say this, I feel like rituals and using things in rituals, using herbs, crystals, all sorts of stuff that I also work with, I feel like this is coming from a way older time in the human evolution, in the evolution of the human psyche, the consciousness that we embodied. A lot of people are saying this comes from the Atlantean times, the Atlantean humanity kind of consciousness times. I don't know, and I don't, you know, that's not so much the interest. What interests me is that indeed I feel it comes from a way earlier time when we were manifesting very, very differently. We were focusing a lot on extract qualities and properties from things around us and from the natural world also, in order to use these qualities into our rituals. Now I feel like through the evolution that we've gone through, and through that which the Christ impulse brought forth, was the ability of the human to channel forth, to bring forth certain energetic qualities without the help of anything outside of themselves, without, let's say, the help of the vital life force energy of an animal that would be sacrificed, let's say, in a ritual, or plants or crystals, or even the harnessing of energies of like geographic locations. So Christ consciousness is a lot about feeling the, like, creating from inside of you the emotional energy, or the life force energy, the amount of energy it takes for something to afterwards be imprinted upon reality. And the way I see this is possible for us, this is through cultivating the Christ spirit within us. Practices that I have seen to have been most helpful with this for me in my journey have been, number one, prayer, speaking, not just meditation, but really just calling in my I am presence, calling in like directly addressing the creator of all being, saying, me, in my God sovereign free power, in the name of the Christ, I seek this, or I ask, I call forth for this. And always, of course, saying, in the highest good of all, let it be so. If it's not in the highest good of all, spirit, the universe, the divine has a magical way of not having something happen. And so I feel like this is very important to note as we are continuing to evolve in our spiritual journeys, that there's a value in ritual, but also there's a time to question whether ritual is hindering us from finally coming into like this Christ consciousness, also in regards to manifesting or creating or bringing about healing or whatnot. The way I do ritual nowadays, it's like, sure, I'll use my herbs and everything, but most of all it focuses on me as a facilitator, channeling forth certain frequencies just with my heart, if that makes sense, through the heart space. But I must say I've spent a lot of time, years now, continuously connecting with the heart center in order to use it, like to clear it, to tune into it, to feel it, to let it bring forth its wisdom, and to act as a gateway for connection with the divine, and as a gateway to channel through signatures, energetic signatures, frequencies, whatever it is each time that I need, or my clients need. And so sometimes the type of healing that takes place, it's very subtle, but it takes place nevertheless. And I've seen that it often takes a while for people to start understanding it, comprehending it, tapping into it as an energy, as a force around them, and then like accept it and start embodying it, and start allowing it to play out in their lives. I feel that ritual can be useful at this at this new age, shall I say, of us connecting with our ability to generate miracles. It can still be, even though, as I said, I feel it comes from an older time where humans were seeking for things, objects, even beings from outside of themselves, to bring that into their ritual, to power their rituals with that. That's why you have also, you see a lot like animal sacrifice, sometimes even, you know, people being sacrificed. A a lot of these very, other than that, beautiful and grand civilizations, even the one that I come from, the ancient Greek civilization, which is very much revered as a civilization of the light, there's human sacrifice involved in these as well. And you're like, where's the light in that? But anyways, that's maybe a talk for another time, because I'm realizing more and more also through various channelings that I'm doing recently. I'm realizing that, and going back into ancient Greece as well, for me, for my lineage, I'm realizing that a lot of the deities even that have been associated with the light, they were actually nothing more but lower entities that were demanding blood sacrifice. So I have to question whether these deities and all of these like things from the mythology that we are so much revering and seeing as, oh, the ancient Greeks, they had like the light consciousness and blah blah. I have serious reservations by now. But anyways, you see this in many you know, cultures, like the in Mexico, like with these beautiful pyramids, and the Mayans and the Aztecs and all of these gorgeous civilizations. Yeah, same thing there. We had a lot of human sacrifice as well. When you think of dogs, let's say even like chihuahuas and stuff like that, I was kind of like, you know, I read it a while ago that basically they were cultivating, or they were breeding, let's say the chihuahuas, the dogs, for sacrifices. I don't know whether this is true, I read it somewhere, but you know what I mean? So you see cultures, civilizations, that blood sacrifice was alive and well. Blood is carrying a huge amount of life force energy. It is the life force energy on a cellular level within us, so it's been used through the eons, unfortunately. A lot of innocent people losing their lives, and a lot of the times also being programmed through their cultures also to think that this is something that's gonna appease the gods or bring us a good crop, so I have to offer myself. It's an honor to offer myself. So there are a lot of aspects of ritual from back in the day that, yeah, obviously we have started to put aside the more we are elevating in consciousness. And that doesn't mean that we cannot keep practices that are gentle and in alignment with the life impulse. Let's say, for example, so if you look at, you know, I'm very much interested in ancient Nordic civilizations. I feel, at least on a spiritual level, there is a huge ancestry there for me. Like really this Viking way of life and everything, which I'm aware it's been really romanticized with movies and series and everything, but actually it was very, very brutal. But even these, let's say, civilizations where they have so many beautiful things like, you know, binding your hair, making your hair a certain way, you know, for protection or for celebration or whatnot, or working with exactly like these beautiful spreads and layouts with flowers and all the medicinal herbs and all that stuff. There's a lot of wisdom there. But again, also in these cultures, blood sacrifice, very prominent. So when we started ditching the blood sacrifice, and I think that we continued to use a lot of tactics and things that were rooted exactly like in these early ritual days. The concept is always, I have something like a vessel, let's say this bottle of water, and I need to imprint intention into that. I need life force energy to generate enough power for this intention to be beamed powerfully enough so that it becomes bottled, so to speak. So nowadays, as I said, we don't do blood ritual, but we are gonna take a crystal that emanates a certain frequency, or we're going to use a plant, or we're going to use a, I don't know, an object or an oil, or, you know, there's a lot of people that are spending a lot of time actually studying. I have been one of them, and it's wonderful to know all of these properties, but yeah, spending a lot of time studying the energetic and healing properties of every plant, every crystal, every, you know, a bird, like spirit animals and stuff like that. This is all great to know, or the power of symbols, or creating new symbols and imbuing them with energy. So I feel this is all very interesting, and for, you know, to honor the past, and also to delve into something that feels exciting, or for a lot of us feels very healing, to reconnect with the past that culturally may have been stolen from us. This is all beautiful, but as I said again, let's make sure that our ability to channel or to awaken the Christ within and have that emanate outwardly, and have that be the force that imprints the intention upon the external reality, versus basically getting into a parasitic relationship with, even with nature, where it's like, I'm going to be sucking the energy of one thing in order to put it into something else. And it's like, this is a finite way of I don't know, it's a finite circuit that says there's not enough energy. So if I want to put energy into something, I need to take it from somewhere else. While the Christ life force energy impulse says it's infinite. The circuit is not even a circuit, it's just like it's open, constantly regenerating. And so if you want to put energy into something, all you have to do is generate it. It's never ending, it's unfinishable, it's you're constantly channeling it forth, and it flows through you, but then more comes from, so it's like it's a cycle. It's not something that, oh, we don't know where to find that energy from, we have to take it from somewhere else. So some things to think about. But yes, for those who want to use ritual, because ritual is still a very powerful method to help us, especially when we are at the beginning of our journey, help us put our conscious mind that is constantly critiquing and thinking and, you know, picking everything apart, and we have problems with believing that we could imprint intention upon reality and truly have results. And that's what's stopping for a lot of people their ability to be deliberate co-creators with the infinite creator. So ritual is a very powerful element we can use to help us put this constantly thinking aspect of us aside for a while, in order to create a safe space, also to a space that feels safe to us. It's like going on another dimension for a while, where it's like I'm removing myself from the day-to-day, and now I'm going in a space where I can have, you know, it's like hypnosis. We're hypnotizing ourselves into feeling like we're going into a space where now I can focus, I can go inwards, I can find this energy, I can bring it forth. So ritual can be very, very powerful in helping us put aside the conscious mind, connect with the subconscious, unconscious, superconscious way, way more easily, because it's a statement that right now I'm going to connect with something I'm not connecting with on the day-to-day. This also changes as your spiritual practice also progresses, and as your spiritual journey and your consciousness also progresses, where before exactly you were not connecting like that on the day-to-day, but now suddenly you are. Now suddenly your day-to-day is a spiritual practice. You know, your day-to-day is actually something where you're constantly in connection with that thing that is much greater than you. And so now also ritual starts feeling a little bit like, I don't need it, because you know, I'm constantly in connection, I'm constantly in this, you know, I can constantly work in the liminal, because I'm with one foot here, with one foot there. I'm constantly going in and out. It's a constant open channel communication. So I'm saying this because for a lot of people, I'm also getting sometimes messages where it's like, hey, I used to have a spiritual practice. Hey, I used to have I don't know, I did my rituals. I had certain deities or beings that I was working with. And now I don't feel like all of this calls me. Like nothing happened, like nothing bad happened. Just suddenly, like, I felt that I don't need this. Is this normal? Have I been disconnected? And I'm like, no, you're not disconnected. It's just you connected for real. You were using the rituals and everything else enough at some point where you got connected, and now you integrated it, or now you could be integrating in a way. It's like my angels, for those who don't know, I work with the archangels, or at least that's, you know, the help that was presented to me. That's how they presented themselves to me, as the archangels. I wrote a book about my work with the archangels. It's on Amazon, the Alchemy of Angelic Invocation. But it's like in 2022, they told me, we're gonna start talking to you or working with you way differently. There's another ship coming. So I stopped hearing them so much, like this thing that was always coming forth like so boomy. And now it started being more like a very gentle thing that is so integrated in my day-to-day that exactly, I don't need to do a ritual. I don't need to sit down with a crystal. I don't need to use these oils and these herbs to invoke a certain archangel or whatever. And quite frankly, this was never the case also for me. I felt that really the angels first came to me when I was in meditation, and really my whole heart and mind, suddenly there was this incredible light that I don't know, now I could describe it as a golden glittering light, but I don't even know, it was so golden, it was so, I don't know, it was so huge. So this thing, this explosion of light happened, and I got introduced to Archangel and Michael. So I started building on top of that with seeing how can I connect to them more or better, and I started researching those things. But I'm seeing now exactly that it's like so integrated in the meantime that I don't do ritual apart from if I want to do ritual for the flair, for the vibe of it, or to help me focus if something has happened and I'm still frazzled and I need something to help me focus. So ritual can be also a thing that can help us focus our intent. And so it's interesting to contemplate or to see all of these things, or to note or to see where you are at this point in your journey as well. For those who may be starting out and they're like, so I want to do a ritual, I want to start connecting, let's say, with the divine, I don't know where to start, what am I gonna need? What does a ritual typically need? What is typically in a ritual? So I would say, first of all, intention. Start with the intention, because the intention, even when you go out, like let's go really traditionally now about how to set up a ritual, having the intention from before, while you're going about finding the objects, the things, the ingredients that you're gonna be using, the intention is going to guide you. So many times I've been looking for, okay, what am I gonna use in this ritual? And the intention was very clear, and then I started stumbling on things. Even going out in nature, I would find, let's say, a huge feather, and when I saw it, I was like, this has to go in the ritual. This is something that I'm going to use, or whatever. So have an intention. You can journal, you can sit in meditation from before, or if you have like a ritual needs to have, right, an intention. What is your problem? What are you trying to create? And it's not just, you know, it's not like a let's do a seance or whatever. Don't leave things vague and whatever happens. I find that there needs to be a certain amount of, like, even boundaries, if I may say. What kind of energies are you going to accept and what kind of energies you will not accept? So start with the intention. Have very clear intention about what it is you want to achieve, and have it in your mind also, like this or something better. You also don't want to limit yourself. So we're going to need candles. You're going to need even one candle, even a tea light is perfectly fine. You can do as simple or as elaborate your rituals as you want them to be. Sometimes I have really felt that all I need is a flame for me to focus my intention on right now. I want to burn something away. I want to, like, symbolically also. And sometimes I will not even burn something actually, but I will just be visualizing how I am removing an energy from me and throwing it into the flame. And you need to understand a few basics. For example, the elements. Fire is for purification. It's not just enlightening things, it's also for purification, like transmuting something, destroying also something. So according to your intention, if you want to destroy something, if you want to purify, if you want to, you know, you can work with fire. Now water is about purification and healing, and I have felt that water is also a lot about releasing, letting go. Like this river here, I have released so many things in it, mostly heavy things I wanted to let go of. I would write, let's say, on a piece of paper, and then I would do a prayer, and then I would release it into the river. And I said, as this paper is going away with the river, or if it drowns, if the fish end up eating it or whatever, just like that, let this issue vanish for me. I surrender it. I give it to the divine. I give it to the river to resolve it. To heal it. So healing, purification, that's water element, okay? So depending on the intention, you're gonna bring that in. Then earth is for strengthening, earth is for grounding, earth is for materialization of things. And so I feel that when I want something to prosper, when I want something to take root and to grow, same thing, I'm gonna work with earth. I'm going to write it again on a piece of paper, and I'm gonna bury it because I want it to take root. I want it to stay. And then we have air. Air, to me, it's interesting. It's about transmission. It's about transmission of ideas, whatever, but it's also the spoken word. Even your spoken word is the element of air in a ritual. But also, I feel always that if you go and you stand on a bridge where it's like really powerful wind, I feel like my whole mental body is cleansed afterwards. So the air element to me is a lot about clarity. See, right now we have a big gust of wind. So it's a lot about clarity, and it's a inspiration. It's like new thoughts, it's consciousness. It's also, it can be used to take things away. So clearing, but you know, sharp focus. Yeah, traveling, going places. So depending on your intention, bring the element of air in your rituals as well. Always when I do my ceremonies, I light a white candle. White is really like this blank canvas. You can use it for anything. You can use it for healing, but it's like, it goes for everything. Every color has its own meaning. So I don't know, typically green is for abundance, healing. I like to connect the colors with the archangels that I work with. For example, Archangel Raphael, to me, is always showing up like this emerald green and a little bit kind of like these rainbow hues around him as well, kind of like yellow and this amethyst kind of color and a little blue and a little green. But the core thing around that orb or that being, however Archangel Raphael shows up to me each time, is this emerald green. If I want to call in specific angels, I usually just put a white candle and just focus my intent on the energy or the name, chanting the name of the archangel. But if you want to work with colors in the candles, yeah, there's like red is for passion, black is for banishing and protection, I don't know, like orange and yellow is like for this jovial aliveness, happiness. What else? Blue is for healing. Yeah, as I said, green is for abundance and prosperity and financial things going well. The colors you can bring the elements as well. Green is for, you know, like the trees and that stuff, or you can have a brown candle for, you know, earth element and stuff like that. So this is with the candles. Also something else that I want to say about candles is you can use one candle, like a pillar candle, or as I said, a tea light or whatever. Oh, you can make it as elaborate as you want. You can even take like honey bee wax, you know, candles that are like these really thin ones, and you can take 3 of them and you can, you know, weave them in a kind of like you would be weaving your hair in a, how is that called? Right now I'm missing the word in English. Yeah, you get the point. You can just create it like that. You can even do that with a rope. You can take ropes and do that. This is something also for protection, but I also like to do these things for intention. While I'm praying and speaking my intention, I am weaving either the candles or the rope or fabric or whatever it is, and then I tie it. And I, you know, usually I have like ropes for protection. I create these and then I hang them behind my front door, or I might do actually a circle to have my people inside the circle when I'm doing a ritual. This is for protection. So I'm gonna weave a very long rope that can enclose the whole circle. So yeah, these are some of the basic elements for a ritual. With the candles, with the elements. Also in a circle in your ritual, you can bring in all elements at the same time. There's certain directions. For example, I like to work with the directions inspired from the feng shui modality, but there's a lot of different schools and you know, some schools say north is for water element, or north is for air element. So each schools and practices are putting the elements in a different direction of the horizon. But I like to put elements in the horizon based, as I said, based on the traditional Chinese feng shui modality. So according to this modality, north is water. So I'm gonna, in my circle, I'm gonna find, you know, your phone has a compass, I'm gonna find where is north, and towards north I'm gonna put a glass of water. Also, depending on the intention you want to have, for example, healing in this case, okay, healing and purification, okay, then water element, okay, I'm gonna be looking, I'm gonna be facing north. So anyways, I use the feng shui directions. For example, fire, I'm going to put south, and earth, I'm going to put usually east, and or also west, to be honest, and air as well. I'm gonna see, for example, in feng shui, west is metal element. Metal, I always think, you know, metal comes from the earth, so you could say it is, you can put, let's say, a bunch of soil on earth on the west. But to me, metal, I don't know, that's why I'm saying your ritual can be as personal as you make it. Metal, I always see a sword, and the sword takes me to the suit of swords in the tarot, and that's air element. So often I will use, I might use west as air element. Sometimes, as I said, I might use it for east. So how, with water, as I said, you can put a glass of water. Fire, you can put, obviously, either I don't know, a picture of a fireplace or something, or an actual tea light, or a candle. Air, I usually add incense. And earth, I will add either a little bit of soil that I might have taken from outside, or things such as seashells, a crystal, you know, these are things coming from inside of the earth. A stone, a rock can bring herbs. My standards are white sage. I like to cleanse the space before and during, sometimes when I'm doing a ritual or holding a circle. And lavender, palo santo, you know, whatever it is each time. You can dive into the various energetic and healing properties of each of the herbs and see, okay, what am I bringing in my ritual this time? Crystals as well. Bring something that resonates with the intention you're having. I like to always have with me either a very protective crystal like a black obsidian or something, or labradorite. Labradorite is really awesome when doing psychic work as well. It helps with, you know, psychic residue. I hate having psychic residue. Okay, sometimes it happens, but it doesn't happen often. It happened to me recently in a circle. I had my protection and everything up, but sometimes, you know, if I don't have a crystal on me that is very, very, like for example, a tektite or a mosit or a black obsidian, I might have a little bit of residue afterwards. It's nothing, it's not a big deal. I just have to go out in nature and, you know, ground myself, clear my energy, run my energy like in a meditation a few times, speak prayer, do a mantra, you know, clear my energy, my aura with white sage. It's something that happens sometimes. Thing is, negative energy might sometimes choose to show up in a way that is kind of like trying to intimidate you, like steal energy from you. Like I had a few weeks ago, I did a circle, and yeah, that was one that I didn't have any crystals on me. And when I went home, I cleared my energy a little bit, kind of like casually, but nothing too deep. I was very tired. This ritual was going deep in the night. I had nearly 15 people in the circle. It was a lot. I was preparing to menstruate, so it was, I don't know, it was a little bit much for me in that moment. So I tried to go to sleep, and every time I would close my eyes, I was seeing like these demonic faces. So I was like, okay, there's some energy here that has stayed, that I brought home with me. So I chanted 108 times my most favorite mantra, which is Kyrie Isu Christe eleison me, and it is a call to the Christ. I love this one so much that I made a video with just me repeating 108 times this mantra. You can find it on my channel. And you know, I got up also, I drank some holy water, smudged myself, boom, everything gone. Next day, just to be sure, I went out in nature, I put my hands on Mother Earth, and I went back home. I did a salt bath, also putting some holy water in the water as well. Yeah, so all good. You know, I'm saying this because when you're working with others, sometimes there is a little bit of psychic bleed through. It can happen. What can you do? It's important to just catch it, recognize it like early enough. Don't start thinking, oh my gosh, what is this I'm seeing? Am I going crazy? Or don't if you're starting to have negative emotions or negative thoughts, don't start thinking, what's wrong with me? What's going on? Be like, whoops, could it be I have some energy here that is trying to intimidate me or trying to, yeah, elicit from me very heavy emotional energy from which this entity or energy can feed? Most often it's not even entities or something, it's really just thought forms, negative thought forms. And yeah, these also need to feed. That's why they go away when you elevate your own, or when you clear your energy and elevate your energy. It's like, there's nothing here for us, let's go away. I like to call upon my archangels as well, Archangel Michael. I know there's a lot of narratives right now about Archangel Michael out there, about whether this is actually demonic and the archangels are actually demonic and whatnot. I think I need to make a video on this one separately, but I don't know, you guys, that's not my experience. To each their own. Always follow your guidance. I'm aware that there's a lot of different versions of, like, you could be calling Archangel Michael. There could be different versions of whatever showing up. It's up to us always to discern. It's always up to us to boundary test, to energetically test and challenge energies that show up if they feel fishy to us. Yeah. Just like you wouldn't open your door to just anybody, just like that also in your spiritual practice, don't just open your doors to anybody. So cultivate a relationship, see again and again and again over time, over years, how does a relationship with a certain deity or aspect or angel or whatever you work with, see what are the results. Like, for example, for me, I have been following, at some point I took it really to my heart. I took it really like so seriously that I was like, everything that I was being given as an information, as an instruction, I was doing it. Of course, checking first with myself if it's in alignment with my integrity, right? And surprise, surprise, the things I was given, they were never clashing with my integrity. So I found that also as a good sign. I have never been asked to do something where I'm like, whoa, I don't know, I don't think so. Sure, when it comes to, let's say, things such as when my angels were encouraging me of like, you know what, open that YouTube channel. There I was feeling like, I don't know, you know, but I knew inside of me that actually this is a good thing. Yes, it's uncomfortable for me, because I was used until 2020 when I opened this channel. I was used to only be doing my work very undercover. It was feeling safe. I didn't have, you know, the whole world knowing what I do, and it felt safe. But I knew also inside of me that this is an old version of me, and it's about time to expand. And of course that's always uncomfortable, but yeah. So check always, or for example, I've been accompanying a lot of people, okay, and also on a business and relationships front, there hasn't been so far, and I'm aware that we're human, there's a first time potentially for everything, but so far, and I don't want to jinx it, but so far I never had a client that said, I did what you told me and it brought me troubles. I've always had people who were like, I don't know, going on and building huge businesses, going on and building successful relationships, going on and building incredible well-being and wonderful connection with themselves and with their own spirit teams. So that in the end, they don't need me. They don't need me to do healings on them. They don't need me to do readings on them. So check over time the results of your relationship with your rituals, with your processes, with the energies and the entities that are flocking around you. There is a lot of beautiful, actually, assistance around us. And that brings me to another element of ritual, which is invocation. And probably this is the most important thing ever. I like to do an invocation way before I start doing anything. Like maybe I have set up my space, the ingredients and the layout of the ritual and everything. The intention is there, what I'm gonna do. Also follow, like I want to say this, be open to follow. Okay, what are you gonna do in this ritual? Are you gonna write something on a paper and then burn it? Are you going to, I don't know, put something in a bottle and seal it and bury it somewhere or whatever? Are you going to just, I don't know, channel energy and just hold your hands over, let's say, your heart or another part where you feel like you need healing energy? Are you going to, let's say, extend healing energy to someone else? What are you gonna do? Ask these questions inside of you. Stay open to receive. You're gonna receive a curriculum. Usually when I'm working with bigger circles, when I have, let's say, people coming over for a ritual, for a healing, I don't know who's coming, but usually what I'm doing is, while I'm setting up the ritual, I kind of open my energy to the energy of the people who are coming, even without knowing them. I don't know them, but I have the sensation of them that groups, they always attract the right people, if that makes sense. Like groups have a certain dynamic, they're very distinct. I've never had two groups that were similar to the same with one another. It's always like certain people go to certain groups, so they create this collective energy. And so it's easy for me, or you in this case, if you so intend, to tap into the energy of the group and see, what do we need? I feel, for example, oh, today the group who's coming, I feel like we should work on matters of the heart. Okay, so while I'm doing, I don't know, a circle, maybe I feel like, you know what, let me put out some sound healing. Let me put out some singing bowls that are resonating with the heart. And I feel like for many of them also the sacral chakra is also involved. Okay, let me combine these sound bowls. Or hey, let me put a huge rose quartz here in the center of the circle and program it intentionally to radiate outwardly this energy to the group. So use always your guidance. And if you find yourself in your body like very tight and stuff like that, relax it, put down your shoulders, connect back to the breath, flow. You will notice your body starts getting very fluid, the way you put the candles around, the way you put, like, you know, so it's all a very intuitive process, setting up your ritual, whether just for yourself or for someone else. And yes, going back to the thing of the invocation, I have a whole video that I did called How to Safely Communicate with the Spirit World. In there, I'm talking all about connecting with deities and entities and the power of invocation. And by all means, I even wrote a book, as I said, The Alchemy of Angelic Invocation, specifically how to use invocation in this book, in this case, to work with angelic beings, to call them in, to whatever, imprint intention, work intention with them in your rituals and in your day-to-day prayer practice. So to me, invocation is really like a little prayer. Just sit there, hands over your heart, and say, I don't know, in my God's sovereign free power, in alignment with the highest good of all, as God would have it, I call in peace and safety and power and inspiration and whatever else you want to call in into this ritual. And I ask it that it be done so for the highest empowerment and health and love, wisdom, truth, and power for me and everybody else involved. And so, you know, go ahead and do an invocation. That's very important. Your invocation is further securing the character of your ritual, further securing what energies you will allow in and what energies you will not allow in. And that's one more level to, you know, I talk often on here about spiritual protection. It's not because I'm scared of the world out there. It's not because I believe that this is not a friendly universe. No, I believe this is a friendly universe. But again, same as you wouldn't open your door just to anybody, because 10 people might be wonderful, sweet, fantastic, but there might be one murderer among them. In the same way, I would never just open my doors just like that to the spirit world either. I cannot say that I have had really like bad stuff happening or whatever, but that's because, I mean, I've had a few things that were happening, but that was always in cases where it was psychic attacks. Someone very, very, you know, specifically and intentionally was directing something very specific my way. And yeah, sometimes I wasn't even the one who caught it right away. Sometimes I was just alerted by my angels. And so anyways, I cannot say that, you know, my you know, so much that I'm insisting always talking about spiritual protection. I cannot say it has come from a space of like, oh, this happened to me and I got scared or traumatized. No, it's, even at the beginning of my spiritual journey, I always had very strong the intention of like, spirit, okay, I can feel you're calling me, I will connect with you, but only on the condition that I stay safe throughout the process and stuff like that. So it's always been a very strong intention of mine to just be safe as I go about doing this kind of work. Otherwise, I am not interested in doing it. So I think these are interesting things to consider as well. These are some of the basic elements of ritual. Go ahead and play with those, enrich them as your soul calls you to. And I wish you much joy and much success with the manifestation of the beautiful things. Oh, look, it's my friend. Hi, baby. I brought you wormies today. Yeah, I brought them little worms today. Hold on, let me show you what's happening always. You gotta see that. Wait, give me a moment. Look what I brought you, my friend. Sorry, you guys, you see my back right now. Gotcha. Hey, so good feet. Come. Whoop. Yeah, these kind of dogs with the white thing. I don't know how they are called in English, but in German they are called Bläshund. I don't know. They've been here like since I first came here, and we just connected. I don't know. I love them so much. And by now they know I bring them snacks. There's a big ship coming over. It's kind of ruining it. But you know what? Even this is like a ritual. So often I'm very intentional about bringing little snacks to my animal friends out here because, you know, it's like a little offering. You know, I bring strawberries, I bring any kind of fruit that they have not been eaten on time in our household and they are a little bit, you know, not so fresh. So I bring those out here. Sometimes I'm gonna leave them at the roots of this beautiful big tree that's behind the camera. And next day I come here and, you know, the animals, like the little mousies and everything else that lives here, they have eaten it overnight. That's a beautiful offering to the land, you know, taking care of the, I mean, they're not expecting me to take care of them, you know, they're wonderful and surviving on their own, but you know what I mean? It's like a friendship. It's like a beautiful offering. I'm coming here almost every day. What, did you eat everything already? Now there's still some stuff for you to eat. Here, there you go. So it's like a little offering. I'm coming here and recharging my energy. So you could say that every day I'm participating in a ritual where I also, when I come here, I'm greeting the trees. I'm saying, hi friends, you know, and when I leave, I'm like, thank you friends, goodbye. And I'm usually leaving something like some grapes, some strawberries, some little worms for the these are great. I buy them from Amazon. I don't collect them myself, you know, I don't. Yeah, so bye bye friend, he's had enough. Okay, there are lots of little mousies right over there somewhere, so I always leave them stuff, and then I sit in a distance and I always, you know, I stalk them a little bit. I look at them and they're so cute. The other day I saw one that looked, oh God, that's a dog. That sounds like a French bulldog. So yeah, all right, have a beautiful time, have much fun with your, oh God, have much fun with your rituals. Don't end up like that. I'll tell you, I think this is a French bulldog. They sound like they make these noises all the time. Does any one of you have a French bulldog or a pug? Let me know in the comments. All right, my loves, goodbye for now. All of my love from me and my ducky friend. Hey, say hi. Bye bye.